All right. Hey, welcome back to the SCIF. You can see I'm still in the truck. We've tried and tried and tried, folks. Something's going on, which is weird because even my reception here sitting under the antenna is not the greatest. I was just telling Stu this, I'm getting, full reception from where I'm at because I have an external antenna and everything looks great, but the internet just sucks. It absolutely sucks. My phone service sucks. And I don't know if there's something, and I've talked to a bunch of friends across the country, and there's a lot of goofiness going on with cell phones. It doesn't matter what brand you have or what service you use. It seems like generally there's a lot of stuff, which makes you wonder, what's going on as we get closer and closer to this big date in November. I'm talking around the edges here because
You're
we
talking
are.
about Thanksgiving?
Yeah, like
Oh,
Thanksgiving, but before.
oh,
And
okay.
as we get closer to that date, they're and you can see worldwide they're really trying to uh, restrict communications all the way around. Now, who is they? We don't necessarily know. We'll just call them the DS, right? So, yeah,
Just for we'll do the Reddit acronyms. My
yeah,
my partner, I'll just call them DS, has
yeah.
been.
There, there you go. So we are the Green Beret Life. I would tell you to go to our website right now, but our website has been shut off. I thought it was going to be shut off in October. We're going to switch our website over to a Facebook page for the simple reason it was costing almost $1,000 a year for that, and uh, we haven't kept our website up to date. Even though it's a beautiful website, and I hate to lose it, but we can start it up with one button press anytime in the future. But we're going to switch over to a Facebook page that's going to look very, very similar. I hate using a Mark Zuckerberg product, but it's free
Yeah.
and puts all the information out there that we basically had on the website, and it's much cheaper than what we were doing. So that is a change. That is a little unexpected. I see we have the Green Beret Life, the Green Beret Life. We had it down there before. That's why you don't see it going across there anymore. We still have the email at greenberetlife at gmail.com. If you have any questions about joining the military, about contracting, about anything, there's no stupid questions. Do not feel stupid asking a question, okay? And we're not going to make you feel stupid for asking any question. Ask the question. Sometimes it takes us a while to get back to you, but we will get back to you, okay? We are a 501c3. We do training, pistol, rifle, and shotgun primarily. And the proceeds to all the training that we do go to get veterans, first responders, and their families out into the outdoors. So that could be shooting events, it could be expeditions, it could be a bunch of different things. But we're here to provide a service to veterans, first responders, and their families. Um, that being said, if you're interested in training or signing up for a class or doing anything, reach out to us on the email. If you've got a group of people together and it can make sense for us to come to you, we can discuss that. So that's who we are. And I am Matt. The dude in the hat there is Stu, or some people, I call him Stu. This is kind of confusing. Uh, this is kind of his name. It's a combination of his first and last name. I call him Stu. Okay, and that's how I've known him since.
Matt, I've been called worse things by better people, man. I'm not offended at
Yeah,
all.
yep. I hear you. So, anyways, what do we got in the show tonight?
We've got, well, you know, I really didn't think we would be covering this again,
Mm-hmm.
but it is another attempt to remove Trump from the ballot in a final way.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to be covering one of these stories again at all ever, much less than 2 months from the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
this all happened Sunday. It was I was my wife and I were literally watching a movie, and she got an alert saying, telling me what happened, and I was like, no, that can't be real. You've got to be just kidding me. Let me look, and it did, and I was just like,
Yeah.
Holy crap, what's the world coming to?
Yeah.
But
And there's a bunch of weirdness around this that we're going to go through.
yeah, this
Here's a
dude,
fun fact.
his whole jam was a little squirrely. I mean, just
Yeah.
odd.
Well,
But we've got that.
fun fact. Both attempted assassins, and the one we can't forget injured two people and killed another patriot named Corey Competore, right?
Yeah.
And you're starting to see a lot of the mainstream outlets question whether anything really happened. Okay. Didn't Alex Jones get sued for like $1 billion over this bullshit? Right?
Pretty much the GDP of France, I think, is what
Yeah.
it's normally equated to.
It's time to start going after these outlets and Rosie O'Donnell and all of these other celebrities out there talking bullshit. But anyways, what the little fun fact is, both of these assassins appeared in, guess what? BlackRock commercials.
Yeah, there's just so much oddball stuff involved with them. But one of the other stories that we have is one we've really been. I mean, geez, it's been 6 months or longer. We've kind of been covering this as it's played out. Is um the sale of the Vista Outdoor? Their there's the Czech group trying to acquire Vista Outdoor, which, for those of you that don't know, is a really, really big part of our ammunition supply and that in the country. Matt has this mess down pat. This is his baby, the story he knows
Well,
in and out.
it affects not just people who purchase ammunition, but all the reloaders as well. So
Yeah, the primers.
Yep, it entails CCI, Spear, Federal, Remington, Alliant Powders. Let me see, Estate cartridge. All of this, and this is very, very, I feel, dangerous to our Second Amendment here in the United States, because why would the government agree to sell off? And it's literally over 90% of our primer production, right? Why would the government agree to this? I'm talking about Congress. Now, remember, the government agreed, and this was under the Obama administration, to sell Smithfield Foods, which is gigantic. All of these names that in the meat and poultry industries, Eckridge, Armor, classic American names. Nathan's Famous, all of this sold to the Chinese. And we've also sold over 2 million acres of land to the Chinese. What sane country in the world does this? If you can't see the intentional destruction of our country, then
Well,
I
it
don't know what else to
amazes
say.
me, Matt, how just anybody thinks it's a good idea to have that much of our, you know, ammunition making capability wrapped up under one entity. So it's like, so there's one lever to pull, and
Mm-hmm.
the supply is. I mean, of course, the people that want to regulate it, that makes it much easier for them. Just like with technology now, you pretty much have Google and Facebook. They have two entities. They have two levers to pull versus 3,000 levers to pull to cut off information or to manipulate information.
Well,
But it's
well, here
just
I want to give a little background real quick on this, just because I know we've done it before, but just so
well,
people
hold on.
understand, we're talking. No,
Let's
no, no,
hey
no.
Matt, let's do that once we get to that
I want to
story,
give it.
because we've
I
got
want to give it. I want to give it right now a little bit. Okay.
all right.
On that, it just for the simple reason, because I want to do it while we're on YouTube still. I don't want to talk about that story on YouTube, but I want to make sure people have the background if somebody
Okay.
does come across this on YouTube. Okay. Vista Outdoors is a relatively new company. It's a spinoff. So you've got to go back a few pages to a company called ATK. Okay. And ATK was a spinoff of Honeywell, and it was based out of up here. Honeywell's headquarters are in Minneapolis, right? Minneapolis, St. Paul area. They spun off their aerospace, basically, industry into a company called ATK. ATK, who does a lot of like I said, that's what their main business is, aerospace contracting, right? They also got into the business and acquired Federal. They acquired CCI, Spear, Alliant. They also acquired other companies such as Blackhawk, some fire. I believe they own Savage. Don't quote me on that, but a bunch of firearm related companies and outdoors related companies. Now, this sale is only the ammunition, but this a few years ago, ATK, who was based out of Eden Prairie, decided that they were going to do what every other big contractor does and moved to right outside Washington, D.C., and they moved to Virginia, where all the other big contractors are. Now, what's really fishy that I don't think a lot of people are catching on to this is that this other company, the Czechoslovak group, also is a aerospace contractor to the United States government, right? When ATK spun off this company and created Vista, they moved the headquarters to Utah, right? Utah or Idaho, one, I think it's Utah, right? And now when you see that another company called MCM has come in and offered more money, and CZ also did, which is another Czech company, but they're only interested. They're not an aerospace or government contractor. They're interested in selling guns and ammo.
Yeah.
All of these offers for this company got turned down. And MCN has actually got a former board member on it, and it's a group of big time investors out of Texas that are trying to buy this, and they keep upping the ante for the whole company, and it keeps getting turned down. Well, several of the board members are having cold feet about this, saying, what in the hell? So, we've been talking about this from the very beginning and said something smells fishy here, because Federal basically has this company, Vista, has almost all the government contracts for small arms ammunition, all the federal agencies, all of that, right? And that's the big danger. So if there's some shenanigans, you can only assume, we don't know that this is happening, but there was some deal saying, hey, you'll get more contracts here in the aerospace industry if you spin this off and sell this over here, and then you restrict sales to government for say. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, well, like we said, it's an easy lever to pull. It'd be like, we've got this great aerospace contract here, but it's a shame you got, with all the violence we have, it's a shame you're dumping that much ammunition on the streets of America. Maybe you could look at that, and we can talk about this aerospace contract here. Well, we know the government's never been opposed to leaning on some. I mean, look at Zuckerberg now, who's coming out saying that they were leaned on by the FBI and the government to do certain things, which we've known it, but they're actually putting it to the tape.
Stu, we might as well finish the story off, and I know this is my fault, but I kind of wanted to cover this on YouTube. Okay, they were supposed to have a meeting because several of the board members are now saying, "What in the hell are we doing? This offer from MCM is so much better. Why the hell aren't we going with that? That's our fiduciary responsibility to go with the best offer." So like 2 or 3 of the board members are now saying, So there was supposed to be a meeting on the 13th, and that was going to decide this whole thing. And that meeting has been pushed off to the 27th. What does that tell you, Stu? What does that tell you that they've pushed this meeting off?
Well, I don't know if they're pushing it off to do more research into the other offer,
or if they can't get people to come around. They can't get those board members.
They're trying to bully the people into taking the check. I don't know. It's just like you said. This is going on for so long, and the other bids from what they're calling MNC here has been
MNC. I thought it was calling it MCM. Okay, MMC.
Yeah, they're on the face of it, they've been better offers, and like you said, the board has that fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders to take the best offer. And I mean, granted, there may be things behind the scenes that aren't reflected in the dollar value offer, but it's odd that they've not really come out and said anything and not really justified to the shareholders of, hey, here's why we're considering taking this offer that on the face of it is, a less dollar per share offer, but there's all this stuff behind it to justify it. It's just been crickets. There's been
Well, well,
nothing.
here's what's odd too, Stu, and this just leads to the where you scratch your head and say, what in the hell is going on? Because CZ were the first people to come in and make a counter offer, and they wanted to buy the whole company, whereas Czechoslovak Group is just buying the ammunition portion. Now, this company is making money hands over fist, but it's all in the ammunition portion. So why
Yeah,
would you
they were
spin
buying
off?
everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, so why would you spin off the only area that makes freaking money? The only, because Czechoslovak Group, I guarantee it, has no interest in the rest of this business,
Yeah.
right? And because that won't meet their needs. If there was a backdoor deal, and I'm not saying there was, but, this is just a guess of what could be going on. But why would they take this company that's doing gangbusters? Look, ammo has gone up incrementally to a massive amount, where if we find 9 mil for 24, 25 cents a round, we're jumping up and down. When just a few years ago, 9 mil was 11 to 14 cents a round, right?
Well,
That is a
you remember
massive step.
you remember the other day whenever I was telling you about buying, some not really bulk, I guess, the 500 round boxes of just 22 ammo for my 1522.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I told you how much it was. You're like, man, you're getting ripped off. I'm like, no, dude, that's what it costs.
Yeah. Or look at 5.56 or 7.62 by 3.9. That ammo
Yeah.
was around 17 cents a round prior to all of this bullshit. And now it's pushing 50, 60 cents a round. So
Yeah.
this is insane, absolutely insane. That company was making so much freaking money, and they're just going to spin off that portion of the company and be left with Blackhawk and Savage or whatever the hell else they've got left there.
Yeah, and basically be left with the entities that are costing them money. Yes,
Exactly.
they have a prestigious name associated with it, but they've not been, self-sufficient in a long time.
Yeah. So this whole thing stinks to high heaven, and I am surprised as hell. It seems like we're the only people talking about it. Nobody else is talking about this in the firearms industry. There's a couple. There's a guy 2A who's been talking about it on YouTube, in Rumble, um, but not enough people are talking. And this is how next thing that happens, we lose this supply of ammo, and we're all got our hands in the air saying, what in the hell just happened? Because we let it happen over a year and a half and didn't ask any freaking questions about what in the hell is going on, because none of this
And,
makes any sense.
and
None of it
again,
does.
when you've got these primer makers, you know, I don't know if Palmetto State Armory, I think we were talking before, where they are looking into starting to do their own primers, but
They already do. They're already doing
but
their
the
own primary.
PSA, if they were just producing ammo, they would be in the same boat because the primers are the most difficult part
Yep.
to manufacture. And so
Yep.
I'm sure when they first spun their ammunition industry up, they were buying the primers from these groups because they are the manufacturers of them, the CCI I mean, CCI is basically the name in primers. I mean, yes, there are
Mm-hmm.
obviously others, but CCI is huge, huge in primers.
Yeah, absolutely. They are the name in primers. But who else makes primers? Federal makes primers. Remington makes primers. And prior to a couple of years ago, that was it for the American
Yeah.
primer makers. That was it.
Yep.
And they just acquired Remington last year or the year before, recently, out of that whole debacle with what the hell was the name of the company that destroyed Remington and DPMS and all of these companies, AAC, all of them. But anyways, they just bought Remington, so now they have everything under one roof
Yeah.
now. And now PSA, but they're just a small player in this game because they just
Oh,
started.
yeah. I mean,
You know,
what they're doing is huge, but in scale, it's like you said, they're a small fish in a big
mm-hmm.
pond at the moment. And that was to reiterate what I said before. That's the big concern is that all of these vendors, all of these suppliers, all these providers are being put under the control of one lever. And like we said, oh, it's a shame that, you know, we have this nice juicy contract over here. We'd love to award you, but we're a little concerned about this other aspect of your business. Can you do something about that?
Yeah.
Absolutely, they would. You know,
Yep. Oh yeah.
it's just
The big
it would
money is
make
the
financial
taxpayer
sense to.
money. The big money is the taxpayer paid tax contracts for
Yeah.
aerospace. That's where the big.
Yep.
That's why they're pushing all of these wars, folks. You know, this is our opinion. I just keep because we're on YouTube, right? This is our opinion. We're not saying this is a fact. This is our opinion. But guess this company, the Czechoslovak group, they also own Fiocchi. They bought them over a year ago. And guess who also makes primers? Fiocchi.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. And it can't, and add to that, all of these wars and all of this money and weapons that we're putting into Ukraine and everywhere around the world. Okay. These components are common. Nitrocellulose and all of this are common across small arms to large arms. Right.
Yeah.
And these components that we use for ammo are being used up at a massive rate. And we talked about this before when allegedly the Barack Obama administration bought so much ammo, okay, for the federal government, you could have funded, and this was all these federal agencies, not military, you could have funded the operation in Iraq for 20 years with that ammo.
Oh, there, and we'll switch over to you. Let's go ahead and switch over to YouTube here, Matt, because
Yeah. Yeah.
or switch off of YouTube over to Rumble and Odysee. So if you guys find us on YouTube, there should be a link in the description below that has the link to the Rumble channel. Please come over there and check it out. That's where we do the majority of our content. We use YouTube kind of to kick it off and hopefully bring people over because we can discuss things a little more freely over on YouTube, over on Rumble versus what we can do on YouTube. So come on over there, check it out. Give us a like and a follow, and we will see you over there.